Why being too independent isn't just personality, it's a trauma response. Many of us wear independence like armor, believing it shows strength, but often, this hyper-independence is a subtle signal that our nervous system has learned to protect itself in ways we don't consciously recognize. In this video, we'll explore 6 reasons why extreme independence is more about self-preservation than self-sufficiency. 1. You learned early that relying on others feels unsafe. Picture a young child discovering that asking for help might get met with irritation, neglect, or even punishment. Over time, your nervous system encodes a message: don't rely on anyone, it's safer alone. Fast forward to adulthood, and you show up in relationships or at work with this invisible caution tape around you. You don't just prefer independence, you need it, because vulnerability feels dangerous. It's not arrogance, it's a survival strategy. Every decision to do things alone might feel like confidence, but it's actually a rehearsed pattern learned in response to inconsistency or emotional absence. 2. Trusting others feels like a gamble. Hyper-independence often comes with a low-risk tolerance for trust. It's not that you're naturally skeptical, it's that your brain has repeatedly calculated the cost of reliance and concluded, better safe than sorry. Even when people demonstrate reliability, there's a part of you that whispers, what if this backfires? You might end up refusing help, saying yes to things you shouldn't, or overcompensating because you've internalized the idea that nobody will catch you if you fall. It's not distrust in others, it's a protective habit from a past where safety wasn't guaranteed. 3. You equate vulnerability with weakness. If you've ever heard someone say, I don't need anyone, it often masks a deeper fear. Showing your needs feels like asking for trouble. Trauma rewires how we interpret openness. A simple request for support can trigger subtle panic, because historically, opening up meant disappointment or shame. Over time, your identity merges with self-sufficiency, so that needing someone else even a little feels like admitting failure. Independence becomes a badge of honor, and a wall, keeping both connection and potential hurt at bay. 4. You internalize pressure to be perfect. Trauma doesn't just make us hyper-independent, it makes us hyper-accountable. You carry invisible rules like, if I can't do it myself, I'm weak, or I must fix everything before anyone notices. This pressure creates a feedback loop. You push harder, avoid help, and then feel exhausted, which reinforces the belief that relying on others is dangerous. Independence becomes a coping mechanism that disguises anxiety and exhaustion as competence. People admire your efficiency, but what they don't see is the underlying strain and the unconscious rules driving it. 5. Asking for help triggers guilt or shame. Even in safe, supportive environments, trauma can make you recoil at the thought of asking for assistance. That simple act can trigger subtle guilt. I shouldn't bother them. Or, I should be able to handle this myself. It's not a lack of social skills. It's a conditioned response. Over time, this pattern trains you to carry the weight of your world alone, even when collaboration could make life easier and more joyful. You might see independence as freedom, but often it's really the nervous system playing it safe. 6. You're wired to survive, not just to thrive. At its core, extreme independence is a survival blueprint. Your nervous system learned early that depending on others was risky. That instinct served a vital function once. It kept you safe. But now, in adulthood, it can feel restrictive. You're capable, strong, and resourceful, yes, but you might also be missing out on connection, intimacy, or even simple relief from sharing burdens. Understanding hyper-independence as a trauma response is the first step toward rewiring it, toward asking for help without guilt, trusting without fear, and thriving without armor.